This is the Itel S17. Okay, I mean, this is the Itel S17's box because, you know, the phone's inside. You get the point. Okay, so first we see Olamide taking a selfie with the S17. We will just slide that away, and then we get the box itself. It shows us the phone in this green color with a huge smile on it. Opening it, you get a smaller box that contains a SIM ejector pin and the hard plastic case. Then underneath that, you get the phone itself. It's wrapped, but we're going to put that away and come back to it. Then we see the charger, the cable, both in black. It's micro USB and the charging brick is 2-pinned, just like always. And then we have the red Itel earpiece. Taking the wrap off the phone, well, you'll be greeted by the phone, obviously. The phone looks pretty. No, like for real, it does look pretty, at least in this color. It's blue with this lovely patterned finish. And the camera module has a different rainbow-like finish, and it changes color depending on how the light hits it. It's cool. The camera module as well looks pretty. It's larger than the S16, and we're going to talk about the cameras in a bit. I'll give design a solid A. If you flip this phone over, you will be greeted by a 6.6-inch display. It's 720p and it's LCD, but again, you can't complain because of how much this phone costs. You wouldn't be disappointed with the display quality though. I watched a couple videos on it and colors looked good. And just scrolling around the UI, I liked what I saw. It's a teardrop notch, and I would hope next year they would move on to something like a hole punch display, because this is kind of old-fashioned. So display could as well easily be an A. Now on the box there's a huge smile on it, and that's because Itel is really proud of their cameras, especially the selfie camera. And I can tell you that I am also a fan. Here are some pictures I took on the S17's front-facing camera, and I can say that yes, with good lighting, you can get very decent pictures on this phone. I would like to know what you think of the selfie camera, bearing in mind it's an 8-megapixel sensor, which is actually the same with the rear cameras. We have an 8-megapixel triple camera setup, and here are also some photos I took with the main sensor. Again, I think they're just as good as the selfie. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So far, so good, right? Yeah. But when we start to actually use the phone, you would notice something a bit different. This phone comes with 1 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage, which can be expanded, thankfully, up to 128 GB with an SD card. That already doesn't sound great. Then you hear it runs a Unisoc SC7731E processor, and that translates to performance isn't great. Simple. Just using the phone, I'm talking opening apps, it takes a bit of time. I mean, it takes at least 2-3 seconds to open an app, sometimes more. And it can't keep that many apps open at the same time, so multitasking isn't great either. And you can expect apps to freeze on you once in a while, because that happened to me. And that's thanks to the processor and just 1 GB of RAM. What can help though is downloading light versions of apps, as well as using 1 or 2 apps at the same time, so that way the phone has less stuff to do. Now, of course, this isn't great, but at the same time, this is due to how much this phone costs. Itel knows it has to make sacrifices to get the phone to this price, and all phones at this price tend to make this sacrifice or have this problem. And then on a more positive note, it comes with a fingerprint sensor and face unlock. Now, of course, the fingerprint sensor is more secure and faster. And yeah, I would say it's relatively quick and works most of the time. It also has really good speakers.
To charge this smartphone to 100%, that's not bad considering.
And it also runs an Android 11, which is nice. I mean, I don't expect it to get more years of software updates, but at least that's cool. The S17 comes with a 5000 mAh battery, which is plenty enough for your everyday use, just like the S16 was. And just like the S16, it doesn't feature any form of fast charging. So yeah, I made you wait till the end to find out how much it costs. It goes for about 42,000, which is about $90. So yeah, kind of really cheap. And it could have been cheaper if not because of, the terrible exchange rates. But yeah, 42,000, this is what you get. And I think that's everything you would want to know about the Itel S17. They've checked all of the boxes except one. They've improved the cameras a whole lot from the S16, but we still have that 1 GB of RAM and the not so powerful chipset. So yeah, whenever I'm doing a review, I like to think, who is buying this phone? And Itel knows this. They know it's people who don't have a lot of money to spend and who don't necessarily use their phones as much. They just want something that looks nice and maybe can take pictures. So they've prioritized design, they've prioritized cameras, and as well battery. But I would say it would still be awesome to see a phone in this series that gives you more RAM or a better processor, or even both. I don't know, if anyone at Itel is watching, you should do that, because if you do, you would create the best budget smartphone. Easy. Those are my thoughts on the Itel S17. Thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, please drop a like, and I would see you when you see me.